So is the FDA making things harder than normal to get safer nicotine products authorized?
No, I mean, at the time of this interview, having 2 non-tobacco, non-menthol flavors just authorized, I actually think that age gating has opened the doors for companies to make it a little bit easier to get authorized. I'm not saying the companies are going to have an easy ride. If they can demonstrate adult benefit in a robust, reliable way, to use FDA's language, coupling that with age gating, I think that many companies out there stand a great chance of being authorized.
Yesterday, when we're doing interviews here at the Symposium, there was much consternation about glass and the fact that those flavors were not approved, and here today they are authorized.
Yeah, no, it seems as though there's been some internal conversations at the White House and extended out to FDA to say, look, these guys have demonstrated an effective method of age gating, bringing the youth risk of the product to near zero, and ultimately what FDA are trying to do is demonstrate that the adult benefit outweighs the youth risk. And if the youth risk through age gating has been reduced to a much lower level than without the age gating, the adult benefit that they've been able to demonstrate has really allowed them to demonstrate that APPH status.
I think it's important too to just take a moment and mention that it was a mango flavor today.
Yeah, I mean, after all the early days with Juul and the criticism that they took on with mango, such that they removed that flavor and others from their portfolio, only going forward with their tobacco flavor in the end, and later their menthol. It's really telling, and it's almost a complete 180 from the FDA in authorizing that flavor above many others, I'm sure. So to have a blueberry and a mango flavored vape available to adult smokers, and importantly not able to be accessed by youth, I think it's a huge step. I think many companies out there should be optimistic about conducting the research, because now there's a clear pathway to get non-tobacco, non-menthol flavors authorized.
Now, you do know a little something about the Juul application. Tell us about your company. What is it, and how did you end up working with Juul?
Sure. So we are a perception and behavioural research organisation. Much of our research is to contribute to PMTAs, but we also focus on other markets as well. We started working with Juul probably back in 2018, I'd like to say, maybe even before, when many companies out there were deciding to sort of pull back on their PMTAs when an extension was given to the market. And Juul, we worked with them for a large number of years, conducting almost all of the perception and behavioural research that contributed to their application. And through those over 30 studies that we managed to conduct on Juul's behalf that were submitted as part of their application, we saw success.
I know that the 25 million Americans out there that do use nicotine vaping products are hoping for more than just a handful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that will come. I think that now that many companies out there can see a clear pathway to market for non-tobacco flavors, and non-tobacco, non-menthol flavors even, there's a precedent being set. If they can conduct the right research, coupling that with age gating, I think that many companies will start to take those steps and see positive results. FDA have demonstrated under Brent that they're more than willing to authorize products that have the right ingredients in their application per se.
They just came out with that draft guidance on flavors, which was about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, and they specifically said in there that age gating technology might not be enough to do the trick. It seems like it was enough this time.
I think it was enough, but I don't. Let me rephrase that. I think that it contributed to the application massively. I don't think that age gating alone is enough. I think that companies still need to demonstrate that their product has a benefit to adult smokers, because ultimately FDA are unlikely to authorize a product for sale that has no demonstrated benefit to the intended population. So I think companies out there still need to demonstrate that adult smokers are going to use the product, and they're going to use the product effectively to switch or reduce their cigarette consumption, and the adult smokers are going to be the population that use the product. Importantly, that non-smoking adults and former smoking adults are not going to be the target market or the potential user population when FDA authorizes that product. Then when they have when they couple all of that research with age gating, because that brings the youth risk to near zero, FDA are able to make that determination that obviously the benefit far outweighs the risk because the risk is so low.
The benefit and risk calculus. In the draft guidance, the comparative efficacy kind of standard seemed to be that you had to prove that the mango flavor was going to have more benefit in an adult quitting than the tobacco flavored. But in the authorization that just came out today, and kind of its language, it didn't really mention that. It specifically made the old school connection of smoker, non-smoker, and vape user. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I think that is down to the age gating, though. I think that in a world without age gating, and I think it is still possible to have a flavour authorised without age gating. You just have to demonstrate that your adult benefit is greater than your youth risk, and importantly, the benefit of a tobacco flavour of your non-tobacco flavour is greater than your tobacco flavour, because there is still that known youth risk for non-tobacco flavours. However, you switch to this now what FDA are terming an additional pathway to market through age gating and demonstrating that your age gating works. There's now no need to demonstrate that additional benefit, or I don't, in my opinion, I don't think there's any need to demonstrate that additional benefit of non-tobacco versus tobacco, because the risk of both is so low because of the effective age gating technology.
I'm happy with that because it doesn't turn the continuum of risk into a conversation about flavored and non-flavored. Because the continuum of risk should stay with combustible tobacco. Absolutely. And non-combustible, right?
The draft guidance that came out seemed to be FDA's first sort of formal acknowledgement of a continuum of risk for flavours. I think the primary comparator is always cigarettes versus the reduced risk product, but because there was that additional added and known risk as shown through NYTS of non-tobacco flavours, there is still the onus on the company when they're not using age gating technology to demonstrate that their non-tobacco flavours are more beneficial than tobacco. But this age gating's just blown that wide open, really. As soon as companies can integrate an age gating system into their new tobacco products and demonstrate first and foremost that works, I think the comparative efficacy argument is no longer there.
What is CSUR working on right now that is exciting and we should know about?
I can't say too much about what we're working on at the moment because almost all of our work is protected by NDAs, but a lot of our time over the past, I'd probably say 5 years, has been spent designing, conducting and reporting on switching studies. Many of those studies are with age-gated products, many are without age gating built into the product. The way in which this glass authorization now changes things is I now don't think that you need to so much prioritise the randomised control trial design, because that is set up to allow for comparisons versus flavour A versus flavour B and so on. I would now advise companies to go down the route of an actual use study, which is a switching study that gives consumers choice across the entire portfolio of products, because now there is no need to demonstrate that comparative benefit. Yeah.
And why is a symposium like this important?
It's important to give companies in this space a recent overview of what's going on. I mean, Azim and the team have just been entirely fortuitous that the glass authorization has happened in this, and we all get to share in this exciting news. And importantly, we're all together when this is coming out, so we can work together, work with our industry friends on developing this newly forged pathway to market that has been achieved through the glass authorization, and really strategize on what is the best way that we can get these products to market to help the millions of adult smokers out there that so clearly need something.